shadow on the wall that looks like a man. Lord, that lamp just moved on that stand. I got movement in the cellars, I got footsteps in the hall. There's no time to waste, I better make some calls. I gotta get ready, make everything right, 'cause all my rowdy friends are goes hunting tonight. Hey, round up the team, let's get started. Hey, this is Brother Mike. There's a party and you're invited. We got the camera set, let's turn off these lights, 'cause all my rowdy friends are goes hunting tonight. This old house has a long history. It should be real, real good for activity. And we got the house wired for sound and got motion alarms setting all around. Got a box full of batteries ready to go, and everyone's itching to start this show. Got our logo tees, driving black SUVs, and that one bald guy with a slick goatee. Hey, round up the team. Let's get started. Hey, this is Brother Mike. Well, there's a party and you're invited. We got the camera set, let's turn off these lights, 'cause all my rowdy friends are goes hunting tonight. Hey, round up the team. Let's get started. Hey, this is your big brother Michael. There's a party and you're invited. We got the camera set, let's turn off these lights, 'cause all my rowdy friends are goes hunting tonight. That's right. Go get 'em, boys.
Hi everybody, welcome to PEMA TV.
And welcome to November 23rd, 2012, Black Friday. Well, for most of us.
Some of us got the memo.
Some of us prefer to be a rebel.
I want to thank everybody for showing up and joining us tonight on PEN.
We're so glad you made it through your turkey coma and anybody went shopping.
Well, you know, I think that's going to be the only benefit of the NHL being shut down. People had all that pent-up aggression. Well, they got to get all that out today. You know, they get to body check into the toy aisles and all that kind of stuff.
Well, they got it out last night because apparently a lot of the places, instead of waiting till midnight, were open at like 9.
Yeah, well, that's just in Milwaukee.
Oh.
I don't know.
What do I know?
Once again, real quick, everybody, if you're not following us, please click on the social media buttons below. Join us, follow us everywhere. Easiest way to keep up. Right below chat room. Do you have our store tab, World TV, to find our archives? Yeah, I go up, I go down, I go left, I go right, in, out. I'm all over the place. But tonight, we've got a very special guest and a very dear friend.
He's fun.
Yeah, he's more than fun, though.
Yeah, but he's fun.
Yeah. he is fun. But tonight we are joined by...
Dun, 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 Paranorbill, Bill Connelly. Bill, are you with us?
I'm with you. How you guys doing?
If we were any better, we need... if we were puppies, we'd need 2 tails. I almost screwed up my own saying.
If we were puppies, we would have 2 tails. We would each need 2 tails.
That'd be 4 tails.
Oh, damn. You guys need a better picture of me. Whoa.
That's what you get for not sending information ahead of time.
I have to do that next time I'm on.
Well, actually, I just went and dug some pictures up of you.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. No, and then I know you ain't afraid of no ghosts, so that's why I put that one on there.
No, it's all good. That was a post picture we actually took for a local paper here in town. It was fun to do the photo shoot. That telephone was like one of the first phones ever made, really, really early phone, aside from the dial, obviously, but it was a real early phone. It was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Well, I threaten everybody. If you don't send me good pictures, I'm going to go get the worst ones out of your photo album.
Oh, I
Exactly.
didn't go get any bad ones. I didn't.
Well,
go get
no, because usually I find him in some bizarre duck costume or something, so he's safe.
You've been, unfortunately, Bill, and I had to say this to one of my guests that was on another show last week, because of our moving around and everything that's happened with us, we've kind of lost touch with you. We haven't talked to you in a little over a year.
He's been busy.
Well, we've talked off the air a lot,
off the air.
but on the air, no, yeah, it's been like a year. It's been way too long.
I concur, sir, and you've had just a few things going on.
Yeah, I mean, I'm working on a TV series. We've got season 2 of Contact coming out, just wrapping up season 1 to get it ready for PEN. I've got a lot of things going on. I'm writing a book. There's a lot of things going on in Billy's life, and and I'm a single dad, so I'm raising my son. So it's a busy time for me right now.
Oh, I can imagine.
I like the picture books.
The picture book, yeah. I like the pop-up ones myself, but that's a whole nother story. Just so everybody knows, you are located in our neighbor country to the north.
Correct.
Just so everybody knows.
I'm in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, and we don't celebrate Thanksgiving today. We celebrated it last month, but happy Black Friday to everybody.
Yeah. Well, everybody's a consumer. You all buy stuff in Canada, so there's consumers everywhere.
Well, see, we have Black Friday the day after Thanksgiving. Theirs isn't the day after their Thanksgiving, but they have Box Day.
Well, no, we
That's
have Christmas and then Boxing Day. But the stupid thing is that you guys celebrate your Thanksgiving and then you have your Black Friday, but we celebrate Black Friday. It doesn't make any sense to me. Like Black Friday should come after Thanksgiving, but we celebrate Thanksgiving and then a month later we get Black Friday. It doesn't make any sense to me, but who am I?
Well, that's because if you had Black Friday after your Thanksgiving, you'd be out buying Halloween costumes on sale instead of Christmas stuff.
Yeah, probably. You're probably right. Yeah.
So see, it makes sense.
It's a huge corporate conspiracy started by the people at the North Pole.
It is.
Yeah, I think so. We'll blame it on Bush.
No, we can't pull no bottom. We can't blame it on Bush. He's been out for 6 years. And we're going forward with our change.
Yes.
Yay. But I want to hear. I really, 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 really. I would really like to know everything you can legally tell us about the new show.
Really?
I know they have a Facebook group. I'm going to put up a graphic.
Okay.
It's the Facebook link, and along with your Facebook link, but it's the Facebook link for your show. Maybe just introduce everybody that's on the picture and.
Well, we've got Priscilla Wolf, obviously, who's on the right there. Myself, Jeff Richards, and then our Aboriginal elder, who's basically our spiritual guide on the show. And what we do is we go, we take a totally different approach to the paranormal. We look for things that are, paranormal, but we try to approach them with an Aboriginal point of view, with a Native American, Native Canadian point of view, whatever you want to call it. And I'm sort of like the only honky on the show. I'm the only white dude. And I'm the tech guy. I'm a sensitive, but we have Jeff Richards, who's also, he's very intuitive, a really good friend of mine. And, we go into every episode just, looking, the same as everybody else, looking to, get proof. And we've had amazing results, just absolutely amazing results.
Yeah, that's...
Oh, and by the way, the guy in the far left, what I said was that's Tom Charles. Tom Charles.
Well, he did have a name, see?
He does, yeah, Tom. Yeah, great guy.
But I guess the primary difference from what a lot of people have already seen is going to be the whole fact that this is taken from the Aboriginal point of view, for the most part.
Correct. We go into everything like, a lot of the other shows. I mean, this is the main difference between our show and a lot of the other shows. I've produced, I still currently with Adam Straley produce Contact, and it's a great show. It's different than the other shows out there, but you get a lot of these cookie cutter paranormal shows out there because they're very inexpensive to produce. From a big budget point of view, let's say, they're very inexpensive to produce. So that's why all these reality shows are so popular now. It's because they're cheap. The advertisers pay their money, and this and the other thing. These guys have actually put money into the production. We have a famous director, Rob King. He's done feature films. He's a Gemini Award winner, which would be the equivalent to an Oscar Award winner director. We've got an amazing director of photography. We've got an amazing crew. There's about 13 or 14 people on our crew, and we go from location to location to location to location. Aside from the Aboriginal point of view, we have a start to our show. We have, we figure out, okay, what's up. Then we have, our, talking amongst each other, trying to figure out, okay, what is our process going to be? What are we going to do here? 3, we bring in Tom, which is our guide, really, and sort of like our Aboriginal mentor. And he sort of gives us his advice on what he would do. And in certain instances, about 80% of the time, he helps us. And then we have a conclusion. And a lot of these shows just say, yeah, your house is haunted. Thanks. We'll see you later. Thumbs up. Ours is not like that. We have stories. There's depth, in our show. And that's something that I really, really wanted. I've been offered shows before. None of them had that depth, and Jennifer Podemski out of Toronto, it's sort of her brainchild. She was the one that came up with the idea, and she sort of handpicked all these people. And Angel Entertainment out of Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, put everything together, and here we are now. We just wrapped about 2 weeks ago shooting episode 13, which was the final episode. We had a wrap party. It was probably one of the most amazing experiences I've ever been involved in, aside from the birth of my children. I mean, it was amazing.
Yeah, that was when you were originally booked on our show.
Yeah.
Please tell me not every episode is demons.
No, we haven't come across... Well, no, I'm not going to say that. I personally, myself, am not a big fan of this whole demonology thing. And, to each their own. I have been doing it for a long, long time. I have yet to run into a so-called demon. I've had people say they're demons. I've had people call themselves Satan. I've had people call themselves Lucifer to me. Really, to me personally, it's not that I don't believe that they exist. I haven't run across them in my path. And if you can hear this, I'm knocking on wood because I don't want to. I got into this to get answers, and I'm getting them. And this last year, we've been shooting the entire summer, almost 5 months, and I've got a lot of answers to a lot of questions that I had, and as well as my co-stars and the rest of the cast members and even the crew members. I've seen some of their jaws drop. Like, they're looking at us like, what in the hell is going on? Like, what is going on here? So there's been a lot of amazing experiences on the show. As far as demons go, not really.
Well, I said that because today I was watching a show, and even a location we've been to a few times, they're like, oh, well, look, we saw a little girl. There's a thermal print of her hand. It said leave. It's a demon.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
really? I mean, you're...
Well, see, a lot of times what people, like, I look at it as this. We are how we are in life as we are in death. And if you're an a-hole in life, then you're going to be an a-hole in death. And it's all about it's like a power struggle on the other side. It's not always that way, but there's certain instances where there's a power struggle, and so you're afraid because you're caught in the middle. You don't know where the hell you are. You don't know if you're in heaven. You don't know if you're in hell. You just know that you're stuck. And so these guys, have people bombarding them all the time, and I mean, maybe just from this reality, that the constant that we live in right now, they have them being bombarded with people asking them questions, and paranormal investigators with K2 units and millimeters and blah blah blah. After a while, if it was me, I'd get a little pissed off, and it's like, leave me alone after a while. So they start to push their chest out and stick out their arms and try to make themselves look bigger than they are, because it's gotten to the point where some of them, where it's almost like some of us, where we just get PO'd sometimes, and they do too. They've got good days and they've got bad days, and that's sort of how I see things.
Oh no, I completely agree. I was just so frustrated when they went from, oh, it's a little girl, there's her handprint on the wall, it's a demon.
Yeah.
And it's like, really? I mean, we've been there several times and have always gotten something, but never anything vicious.
No, I mean, we shoot, each episode is a 4-day shoot, between 3 and 4 days, and we have to cram all of that 4 days into 22 minutes. That's what a 30-minute episode on TV is 22 minutes. And
right.
And we take all this stuff that we gather, all the evidence, all the research, everything that we've got. Priscilla does a great job as a researcher and as a trained journalist. Jeff is an amazing intuitive. He's probably one of the best that I've ever worked with. And it's just, we go into these situations blind. And we spend 3 days to 4 days trying to figure out what in the hell is going on. And then, poor Bamboo or Angel Entertainment, they have to turn it into 22 minutes of something. And so I understand why some of these people out there will take, when they get bupkis, when they get nothing, and they'll turn it into something. But we were fortunate enough to get, I think we only blanked once. And it really wasn't even a blank. It was a sort of a continuation from the last one into the next one. And I think we did really, really, really well. And for the amount of evidence that we've captured visually, audibly, it's amazing. We don't have to BS to make good TV. It's just, it just happens on its own.
I just think it would be totally refreshing to finally see a show that doesn't have a demon show up once a week or once every other week.
Yeah, this will be a nice change for you, because as far as I know, we don't have any demons showing up. Not that I can recall.
Not that he's gonna tell.
Right.
No, it's kind of become a running joke around here. Another one of our shows on Wednesdays had a paranormal person come on, and 3 minutes into it, she became a demonologist, and yeah, the show went left from there.
Well, it's kind of like that all the time, too. Everybody is a demonologist, or everybody's a paranormal investigator, and everybody's a this. Until I see a lot of years under your belt, and until I see, certain things that I see personally, I will give everyone respect and give everyone the benefit of the doubt. But that doesn't mean that I'm going to work with you. That doesn't mean that other people are going to work with you. You have to pay your dues. A lot of these people out here, and I'm going to call it a business, a lot of people out here in this business do not pay their dues. Whether it's a weekend warrior going out there and doing more harm than good, something's happening with the family, they go in, something happens and they make it worse. Or you've got some guy saying that, you've got a demon of, whatever name he wants to call himself. It's bad for us, because what's the word that I'm looking for? It
kind of ruins everything we've worked so hard to accomplish.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, a lot of the outside world, the outside media, they look at us like a bunch of quacks. And it's like guys going out there hunting for Bigfoot. Until you bring me a body, I'm not going to believe anything you're saying. I think you're an idiot. I think you're a quack until you bring me a body. And, I mean, that's what all of us are doing, is we're trying to go out there and we're trying to find the body. That's all we're trying to do.
We're trying to be feather-free.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Word to Big Bird.
Right?
Right.
I just, the whole demonology thing, I guess the biggest problem that I've always had with it, and I think I figured it out just with what you just said, Bill. I think I figured it out. Demons work for less than scale, so they're cheap. That's why they keep going back to them.
Exactly. Yeah, they're
not organized. They're not unionized. So the demons are just cheaper than straight labor.
They don't have their SAG cards.
Yeah, they don't have their SAG cards.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's the thing, and you know how we are here because we've been friends for a long time.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know how we are over here. We've always just tried to get the right information out to people, and want people to think. But it's so hard when all they see is the shows.
Well, and we don't only do it here; we do it with the paranormal team too. There's some people get out there and okay, there's something evil in your house, and they leave. They're not rechecking on the people. They're not saying, okay, here's a list of people we can contact to get them more help. They're just like, demon, you're on your own. See ya.
Yeah.
And to me, that's ridiculous. You can't. I mean, they called you in because they were scared or concerned to begin with. You just made it worse.
Absolutely. And I mean, our job on this show, excuse me, when we go in is, I love to do residential investigations. Everybody can do Rolling Hills or the battleship, this, that, the USS, blah, blah, blah. Who cares? It's done. It's been overdone. It's been done a million times. Mm-hmm. Find something new and think outside the box. When I go into a home, I'm not going to give much away here. I'm going to try not to anyways. But we went into a home and the family was being tormented by spirits, basically. And we got our game plan together. We put it into action and we resolved the issue. And I think more people need to do that. It's not about, of course, everybody wants ratings and you want to sell the show and all that sort of thing. But at the end of the day, we're in it to help the people. If you're not in this industry to help people or to learn or to gain knowledge, then you need to get out.
I agree. And as far as some of the larger locations, not all of them, but some of them, I mean, if we're paying the extra money to get in there, but it's going to help rebuild it or, keep it going, help pay the taxes, help whatever, then it's still not a bad thing.
Oh, absolutely not. No.
It's the places that say, oh, well, we're charging, $2,000 for you to walk around in our hole, and quite frankly, we're not going to do anything to clean it up or make it safer or anything else. Then they're just in it to get the money.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't even going to get into the whole. I think anybody that's even slightly involved in the paranormal that has any of the paracelebrities on their Facebook pages has been involved and or seen all I'm just going to call it like it is, the bullshit that's been going on Facebook. Yeah. It really doesn't. What's going on Facebook right now is just a very publicized version of what's gone on to some teams before that just because nobody heard about them or they haven't done anything very popular, their situation and or drama and or bullshit or whatever you want to call it was not any less traumatic for them than what's going on right now. But they had no voice. Now people that have a voice are getting involved. And all of a sudden, oh my God, we're all supposed to be drawing lines in the sand and everything else, and it's kind of sad, actually. It really is kind of sad how it's. I've seen people that have been very good friends for a very long time.
Well, and we're friends with a lot of people on both sides.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to pick sides. I'm not going to
No.
choose one over the other because we have not been there. We haven't seen, what's going on. So that keeps us completely clean of everything.
Yeah. I mean,
I agree. There's this thing called para-unity.
Nice. That's a good one, Bill.
Nice segue.
Yeah, exactly. And it's a crock of shit. Para-unity, you've got all these guys out there. I don't know how many years ago I started, okay? And I'm not taking credit for anything, whatever. But, I don't know how many years ago I started. And I did certain things. And I was one of those guys that was like, okay, I'm watching all these shows on TV. This is actually before all the shows on TV were out there. And I was watching shows like Most Haunted out of the UK, which came out in like 2000 or 1990 something. And in Canada, we get a lot of the stuff that the BBC produces, or a lot of stuff that comes out of the UK. And so we got these paranormal shows, I think, before they came out in the US. And I was thinking to myself, these guys are just doing things kind of different. I like it, but it's every episode is the same thing. These guys aren't thinking outside the box. We need to start thinking outside the box. And then it saturates into North America, Canada, the US, everywhere else. We got all these TV shows. Now everybody's a friggin' Ghostbuster. And, it's unfortunate that now you have all these people fighting within each other and their own little groups, a group of 4 people, and the 2 of them are fighting, and then you got another 10 groups out there, another 5 of them are fighting. It's unbelievable. It's like, save your drama for your mama because your daddy don't want to hear it. I don't care about paradrama. I don't care about the bullshit that I hear on pardon my French, what I hear on Facebook or what I hear anywhere. I don't care. To me, it's about evidence. And, when you start dragging people's personal business into stuff and all that sort of thing, I've had it happen to me myself, too, a few times. And it's just, just leave it alone. Don't start something. Leave it. This is not a public forum. You've got my phone number. Call me. Don't start any BS on Facebook.
Yeah.
I have his phone number. You don't.
Like I said, I don't want to. We don't want to choose sides because we're friends with both sides.
Right.
And.
Well, we're friends with both sides after the actual location. We don't know the people who
we don't know
own
the people
location.
at
We just
Posh
know
Town.
everybody else who's arguing about it.
We just know everybody it's arguing about it. And one side says one thing and one side says another. And
Quite frankly, I don't care. I'm not there. It's someplace I wasn't on my bucket list, and quite frankly, won't be.
And I'm sure it all revolves around something.
I'm sure it does. I have no idea what you guys are talking about. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter because it's paradrama. It's stuff that, you guys don't need to even be involved with. You guys are bigger than that. So, why even bother with it?
But everybody should be. I guess my point being, paracelebrity, you should take it as such. If you have a business issue with somebody, sue them. If you can't sue them about it, then why start it?
Yeah, exactly. Put up or shut up, and that's it.
Paradrama behind.
Yes,
We're gonna leave that pile on the side of the road where it should be.
Yes, sir.
You also are you now? This is something I've been confused about. Do you actually own Hinsdale?
I do own Hinsdale. Yes.
You are a good man, Charlie Brown.
You have time to hear the story behind the Hinsdale house?
We own the network. We can go as long as we damn well please. Yes, we've got time.
Okay, good. We were getting ramped up, myself, Chris Connelly, and Adam Straley, the guys from Believe Spirit Investigators out of Buffalo, New York, Corinne and Mark Hudson. We were getting ready to shoot a documentary film about the Hinsdale house. And what we were going to do is we were going to spend a couple weeks up in Hinsdale and, talk about this creepy house and investigate the house and do all this other stuff. Well, about 3 weeks before we decide we're going to go to the house, about 3 weeks before we're about to go to the house, I get a call. And the call is from the current owner, who basically is saying, listen, there's some issues with the taxes and the this, and they're coming up for renewal. And, you know, we really don't want to pay these. It's cheaper for us to knock the house down than it is to keep it standing. And I said, listen, give me 48 hours. Let me call you back. Let me think on this for a bit. So I thought about it. And then, as I always do, I'm like, down on my phone, hey, Dad, can I borrow some money off you? So my dad said, why were you even born? It's pretty much what he's thinking in his head. But of course, my dad took care of me and lent me some money, and the community pulled together and everybody pulled together, and we bought the house. And it wasn't, you know, at first it was like, okay, well, we're going to buy the house. They wanted, I think it was about $400,000 for this house in the middle of nowhere. It's 9 acres.
Well,
it's about 45 minutes south of Buffalo, just across just near Bradford, PA, just north of the border. And it's one of those houses that it's in the middle of nowhere. It's beautiful. It's very scenic. There's there's a bass pond, and there's great deer on there, and it's 9 acres of just beauty. And I was like, oh. And so I bought the house, and I got it for obviously a lot less. They were asking $300,000 for $4,000. I don't remember how much money they were asking for it, but they were asking a lot of money for the house because they knew the reputation. There was movies made on it. There was books written on it. Paul Kenyon, who's in the room right now, wrote an amazing book. You can go to paranorbill.com or to contactparanormal.org and pick up a copy of the book there. And anyways, there was all these, you know, stories written about this book, written about this house. And I was like, you know what? I can't let this house that was built in 1871 go to waste. I can't let, you know, Paul was saying Bill, Chris was saying Bill, you know, everybody was just, you know, do something good, So in my gut, I knew it was the right thing to do. I bought the house, and everybody in the area pulled together, and people that had like vandalized the house in the 70s or the 80s had come back and returned, you know, artifacts from the house. You know, it's been amazing the amount of support that we've had put into the house. All of our neighbors, we're friends with all of our neighbors. You know, and we've got people that watch the house all the time. The state troopers, we're friends with them. One of the state troopers actually parks his camper out at the end of the driveway a lot of the times. And you know, so it's one of those things where the entire community pulled together to restore this dilapidated, beautiful old house into what it is now. I mean, it's not dilapidated by any means. It's in great shape compared to what it was. But we've turned it into the world's first paranormal research facility, and you can go there. It's cheap. I mean, this isn't a money-making venture for anyone. We're doing it so that we can put a new roof on it. We can put new windows in it. There's a lot of things that we want to do to the house, but at the end of the day, I mean, you can literally rent the house for like $20 a person, cheap. And you go there, you rent it, and I don't know of any group personally that's ever been disappointed from doing an overnight there. You go there, you can do a 4-hour, you can do an overnight, you can do a weekend, you know, really whatever you want, you can do at the house. And I stay there once in a while. My girlfriend and I have stayed there a couple times. I've stayed there quite a bit, but her and I have stayed there a few times, and she hears things, and I'm trying to say, oh, no, it's just it's flies, or it's this, or it's that. I know what the hell's going on. But, yeah, I'm trying to calm her down. But she's sensitive, too, so she knows exactly what's going on, too. But, yeah, the house is amazing. The property is amazing. And the people in the area, everybody, you know, if I can be blunt, everybody gives a shit about this house. And that's the one thing that I really, really like, is that people care. And it really showed. You know, when push came to shove, and, you know, we were having problem getting lumber for the side of the, you know, wall, or we were having problems getting this and that, the community came together and they gave us supplies. And we had people out there on their hands and knees, you know, putting the house back together again with us. It was one of the most amazing things that I've ever witnessed.
And that's something that we kind of preach about a lot. Kim and I, is how important it is for the paranormal community to be part of the community.
Right.
We're not just some crazy. Thanks to the triumphant plumbers and the valiant trio, we're not the weird couple walking in the graveyard anymore. We're just that couple that digs graveyards. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's so important that we give back. We've got Paranormal Kicks Cancer that's doing great things as far as charity work goes.
Mm-hmm.
We know several smaller groups that live in rural areas that will actually find some of the more dilapidated county cemeteries and stuff that don't get the attention they should, and they'll go in and clean them at least once a year. Go in and clean them up. It's the little stuff like that that I personally think is going to make a huge difference in our perception, because people can already see we can't get along.
Well, and the one team up in Washington that we had interviewed actually opened a resale store, and 50% of everything they sell, for as long as they're ever open, all goes to homeless shelters.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And then one of them or both of them had been through different phases in their life where they've been homeless, so it's their way of giving back, and that's awesome. It's that kind of stuff that goes a long way to repairing some of the bridges some of the other idiots have burned.
And yeah, you can say only 50%, but they do have the rental of the building and that kind of stuff. But it's non-profit. I mean, everything goes back into either the shop or into the homeless shelters, which I think is cool. It's all get out.
And like I'm showing, like everybody can see on the screen, there's the before and the after pictures. Give everybody just in case somebody watching this in archive, Bill, give everybody a little history on Hinsdale and exactly what makes this dilapidated house out in the middle of nowhere worth something.
Well, I mean, Paul Kenyon's in the room. I don't know if you can get a call from Paul and Tina in there,
sure.
But Paul, if you have time, you can call in. Paul is really the guy who knows everything about the house. Paul has written books on the house. He gives tours for us on the house. So, Paul, if you can call that number on the screen, he's going to be the best one to talk about the house. I know a lot about the house, but I guarantee you I'm going to get stuff wrong, or mix a date up or whatever. But Paul's the guy to talk to about the house. It feels like just yesterday I saw his old ass. What was it? Probably like 3 weeks ago I saw him, and Tina and Paul. They brought Rita, my girlfriend, and I were staying in the house. We're like, yeah, it'll be warm. We've got heaters in the house set up on the baseboards, but they're not all that warm. They're warm enough. But, they were nice enough to bring us breakfast, and to bring us blankets and to do all this kind of really great stuff for us. So,
well, hi, Paul.
Hi there.
You need to turn the speaker
Hang on, I got to turn the volume down.
Yeah.
There you go.
There we go.
How are you?
Good. How are you? Hi, Bill.
Hey, Paulie. How you doing, buddy?
I'm all right. How are you doing? I'll make back up so they can listen to you on the radio, and I'll go sit in my little corner or something.
No. Why don't you give them, a little bit of the history of the house? And we all know it was built in 1871, but let's maybe talk about the land and then the house, and then during, and then when you were involved in it after, within, how much time we got? Because Kenyon will take forever.
Well, hang on. Let me see if I got this right. Paulie was... Wait. The family that had the major haunting there, Paulie was one of the family friends. Don't blow it for me. Was a family friend, but you were like friends with the son, right?
I met the family through my ex who worked with the mother, and that's the day it was in the paper, I met them. And from that day on, it just seemed like I was stuck there with the rest of the family. I became a part of I became a fixture of the house for a year and a half every day.
Well, see, I was making you younger. You should have worked with me here, Paulie.
No, I'm not younger. I'm 60 years old. And the house makes me older every time I go there.
Well, Paul, what kind of nails were you using back in 1871 when you put that thing together?
I saved some out for you, though. We took them out of the clappers inside when we fixed the wall. Remember the square head nails I showed you?
I remember.
Yeah, that's what we use.
They were
And a
metal.
little wooden
So-
shoe.
Yeah. So yeah, let's maybe tell them a little bit of the history of the land and the house.
Well, the house, like you say, it was built 1871. The McMahon family, the road is called McMahon Road. McMahon family were the original purchasers of the house, and they owned it basically through the 70s, except for a 6-month period where it went into someone else's name, and I don't have a deed in front of me, and I can't remember the last name, but it's just this is really hard to explain any history about the house, even if I wanted to. It would take me, like Bill said, forever. But there was we all know the Dandy family had some serious problems for nearly 5 years. Paranormal activity that's just sometimes off the chart. I'm at the house all the time now, and it's not exactly the same way, yet it does have its activity that can drive you insane. There was one thing, when the exorcism was taking place in 1974, and I use the word exorcism loosely because you can't exorcise a house, but the family, there were still 2 members of the McMahon family alive, and when the stories came out about the house, they were extremely upset, saying they'd be smirching the family name and they'd be loving their household and their quiet little farm. But yet Father Alphonsus, who was the one who performed this exorcism, house cleansing, he was contacted by a priest who had done a similar cleansing 50 years prior to that. So obviously there was something going on with the family when they lived there, when the McMahons lived there too. And but they contested nothing. It wasn't that bad. It wasn't nothing really going on. And I only met one of the McMahon family members at my first book signing, and he scoffed at what I said, but he kind of calmed down after listening to my story of exactly what the family went through. Yeah, the house is crazy, but not to the extent that it was then. And my feelings are that the middle-aged daughter Laura, mom Clara will argue with me about this, but I think she had an awful lot to do with what was happening in the house, whether she was connected to the spiritual energy or the land's energy or whatever. It's impossible to really come to a conclusion on what the hell is causing the problems there.
Well, isn't there a theory that says young teen girls have a tendency to draw extra energies?
Oh, absolutely. That's been a that was, I think that was brought to the attention of paranormal researchers way back when, before even Father Al's time. And Father Al was a theology teacher for 35 years, assistant professor at St. Bonaventure. But he was so far advanced over what they're even doing today. I mean, if you would, I have access to his archives. Father Al has passed away. And if you read through his archives, you will not believe what this man was writing about back in the 60s. You would not believe the insight that he had, and much of it was personal, but the insight that he had in paranormal activity and demonology, and I don't care 2 hoots about demonology, but really he was so far advanced in his findings and his thoughts, but he absolutely believed 100%, and I don't think Father Al was psychic, but he certainly had the insight to a human soul when he sat and talked to him, because he could tell if somebody was lying or faking, and nothing was ever faked up there. What happened.
Paul, can I ask you a question?
It's just, yeah.
And I just want to make sure our viewers can understand the event that happened at the Hinsdale. That also happened around the same time as everything that happened in Amityville too, correct?
Yes, absolutely.
So, and that's why some people never actually heard of the Hinsdale, because Amityville Amityville did what Amityville did. I mean, it just exploded.
Yeah. Father Al was on the outskirts of Amityville as well. He was a consultant, a silent consultant on the story and the incident that happened there. We never really talked in that in depth, and I didn't lose contact. I stayed in contact with Father Al for the 25 years I was away from Olean. But when I came back, I visited him often at the Friary. He had retired, and just an amazing man. The thing is, the one thing, though, like you, I'm certainly not, I don't believe I'm anything like you are as being a sensitive. I'm not psychic. I don't believe. I just know when things are going to happen, and I damned if I ever know what really it is that's going to happen. That's what drew me to Hinsdale. All my life before that, I had nuances. I knew it was going to something he's about the whatever. But when I got to Hinsdale, it kind of opened that, and that's what Alex Tanis, Dr. Tanis, the world-renowned psychic, told me, that you just now are opening. You're tapping your resources. You're tapping what you really have inside you. I didn't know what the hell I had inside me. I just had little weird goosies. That's my word for when I get a feeling, a goosey.
I think that you yourself, though, I mean, I was with you a few weeks ago when we were in New York with the Christopher Booth and Keith Age and everybody else that was there when we had the Rise of the Dead event, and you didn't make it to the event, but after the event and everything calmed down and we were cleaning up and the house was back to normal, and this quiet old house in the woods, you would get activity by provoking, and I had to spend the night in the house after you pulled your shit on me there, Paul. By the way, thank you for bringing me the blankets. But Paul was like, "Hey, blah blah blah, come on down." He sounds like the guy from The Price is Right, and he's yelling and screaming, trying to get activity because he knows, Paul, that they're there. But with Paul, it's like they're either afraid of him or they're just, I don't know what it is. I'll be sitting there and I'll hear footsteps going up, back and forth, and then walk down the stairs, and then walk back up the stairs, and walk down the stairs. And whenever Paul leaves, it's a shit show because, and the last time you left, I had to sleep there overnight. So Rita's in bed, she's sleeping on the couch, and I'm beside her with one eye open, looking around like this. I'm like, should I take my sleeping pill or not? No, I don't think so. Yeah.
Well, the thing is, Bill, here's the question I have to ask of you, since nobody else has had the opportunity to ask this. But when I'm at the house, we had a few people up the other night. We had some students that came in from Allegheny. We were there for a couple hours. And when I'm there, you don't get a lot of crap going on. You really don't get a lot of stuff happening. The only thing that always happens is when we use a K2 meter for communication, and you tell them to walk to the light and walk away from the light. It's spontaneous. It happens more than coincidence will allow that to be. It's not coincidence. But when I'm there, and many times when I'm there and the meter is like if Tina's doing, Tina's, I mean, she's related to all the ghosts up there. They love her to death. I mean, she can have conversations and perfect. But when I walk into a room, the K2 meter says, okay, forget about it. But then there are other times if I'm in the room from the beginning, it continues.
Well, I noticed
something there hates me.
Yeah, I think they hate you too, Paul. I think they like you, but no, actually, they don't like you. I think what it is that they're either intimidated by you or whatever it might be. I don't know. But I know as soon as, like, when you're there and you're asking for activity, you're asking for things to happen, minor things will happen. But when you leave, that's when everything happens. It's like that's when the footsteps go down. That's when the pots and pans are rattling. That's when the black shadow figure comes across. That's when those bright sparkles of light are everywhere. So I don't know. There's a connection between you and the house, whether they're afraid, whether they're just being cautious. I'm not exactly sure what it is, but I know that when you're there, it's different than when you're not there. I think the activity is higher when you're not there than when you're there. As weird as that sounds.
And
does that make sense?
To be that, yeah, it does, because I mean, when if these other groups, and we've talked about this, Bill, everybody in this community has talked about it. When some of the groups go up there, they're telling me these, in my opinion, not just there, but Rolling Hills or any place, they tell me these outrageous, you know me, I'm a skeptic as hell, but they tell me these outrageous stories about the house in Hinsdale. I'm thinking, what are you talking about? When they get, now we do get EVPs. That's one thing that we'll go through every time. When I'm sitting there and we're all sitting quietly, we don't talk sometimes at all.
Right.
But the one night I told you about it, we were all in the living room. There was only 5 of us sitting there, and we heard my name very clearly, Paul. And I turned around to Angel sitting next to me, and I said, "What?" She said, "I didn't say anything." And her mom and I both at the same time said, "You just called him." So once in a while that does, and I had the recorder going, so I do have that on recording. And it wasn't her voice. It certainly wasn't her voice, but the activity that was there in the 70s doesn't happen when I'm there. And Alex Tannis said, "You aren't looking for answers. The house is looking to you for answers." And that's when I'm thinking, okay, is he really for real, this guy, or what? I mean, I was just 22 years old then, so I didn't really understand anything.
Well, I'll give you an example of what happened to me just 3 weeks ago. I'm standing in Mike's room at the bottom there, and Rita had either put something into the microwave or she was about to put something in the microwave, and all of a sudden, and you know how the Puerto Rican girls are, they're feisty, right? So she goes, I hear this shh. I hear like a shh. I'm like, what are you, like, sucking your teeth at me for? What are you doing that for? And she's like, I didn't do it. And she looks to her right, and then it happens right after again. It was that hiss that everyone's telling me about. Well, that's the first time I've experienced it. Yeah, but it's the first time I've experienced it. It was clear as day. It was loud. Like, I thought it was coming from Rita, and then when I looked at Rita, I'm like, what the hell are you doing? She looks to her right, like, oh, my God. And then it happens immediately after again. You know, and so we get a lot of stuff happening up there. But, you know, at the end of the day, the nice thing is that we've got a place that people can go. It's cheap. They can go there. They've got a room set up, like a room where they can set up all their gear, their DVR equipment, whatever, and they can go there and they can research this thing. And then they're not on sort of a time constraint with some sort of janitor or whatever watching over them. These guys can go there. They can rent the house for the weekend. They can rent it overnight, and they can go and they can do the thing at their own pace, however they want to do it. If they don't want to. If they need a break, they can go fish for some bass or some bluegills in the pond or whatever. It doesn't matter. Or they can go to Old Man and get a cheeseburger. It doesn't matter. But it's something that's never been done before. And as I've thanked you in the past, it's one of those things where at first I thought, Paul got me to buy this house, I'm going to kick his ass. But you know what? It's one of the it's one of those things where it's costing me money, but at the same time, it's creating so many new friends for me, and it's creating such a good environment for the paranormal community. There was so much infighting in the Buffalo, New York area between people, and groups, and now we've all come together. I'm not saying this because of the house, but I'm saying we've all come together because we're all working towards a common goal, and I think we've sort of learned to sort of the bad apples were sort of weeded out. And we've the good reputable groups are sticking together. I mean, we've got like 7 good reputable groups that go in there on a regular basis now, and they all get along. There's no infighting. Everybody's fine. So I mean, if not for anything else, I mean, that in itself is amazing because you don't have seven PR groups that actually get along in the same area. I mean, it's unheard of.
That is unheard of. No, there's one thing I do want to say about the whole house knocking down and everything else. We never will go up there on a weeknight unless we get a call or unless the house calls. And this is exactly what happened because Tina had a horrible urge. She had to go check on the house. And we don't go up on Tuesday. That's usually not even thought about, because Nick's got school, Angel's in college, she's got to work in the morning. But, and it was cold, it was snowing, there was snow on the ground when this happened. She got a horrible urge, and it happens with me as well sometimes. And she said, we need to go up to the house. I said, what? It's cold as hell up on the hill. It's colder than down here. But we went up that night. Now, that was a Tuesday. Now, we already had the idea of making the movie, and I talked to the owner's daughter. She said, sure. Mom said it's okay. Well, that Tuesday, she had this horrible urge. We went up to the house, and every single window was knocked out. There was the venting for the heat was laying on the porch like somebody had been. I mean, they'd been vandalizing the place for months prior to that. So we figured somebody just went up and had a heyday with it. So I called the state police, which I always did when we went up there and found somebody. And they came out, Mark Jones came out, and he shined his flashlight around. And it didn't even dawn on me until he shone his light up on the chimney, that the chimney was gone. That immediately told me this house is in pre-demo. So that's when I made the phone call. And KG, the son of the owner, said that he had planned on knocking the house down. He wasn't even aware that you had gotten permission from his mother to make a movie. So if we hadn't gone up Tuesday, Bill, that house wouldn't have been there Thursday, because that's when it was set to be demolished.
No, exactly.
I don't even know if you knew that whole story or not, but
no,
it was going down 2 days later.
I didn't know the whole story, but to make a quick story short, and I know that these two on the other end are like staring at each other like, when are they going to give us a chance to talk? But
No.
No, you guys are doing a good job. We're just sitting here.
No, I mean, that's the thing. If somebody's talking and I can learn something, I'm going to shut up. I'm not stupid.
Yeah. I think I was either working on a logo or I was working on something. I don't remember what it was, but I pulled an all-nighter, as sometimes I do. I haven't done it in a while, but I'll pull an all-nighter where I won't go to sleep that night. And it was the day that I had agreed to purchase the house. And I pulled an all-nighter, and it was about 6 in the morning. I told you this story, Paul. 6 or 7 in the morning my time, so about 8 or 9 your time. And I got this cold feeling around my neck. And then it goes over my shoulders, down my arms, and around my chest. And then I feel this squish. And it was like a cold. It was a hug from somebody that was cold. It was just a big hug. It was like a thank you very much, and then it was gone. And you'll get people saying, this is the one thing that everybody says about the house, Paul. And I mean, and you know better than anybody, the house calls to you.
It pulls you.
It doesn't just pull you, man. It there's something there. I was dealing with some friends of mine in New York, and they're like, let's go to the house, let's go to the house, let's go to the house. I'm like, dude, I want to go to the house right now. It's like freezing cold. What the hell am I going to do with the house? I can't shoot anything with the bow. The pond is like half frozen over. What am I going to do? Come on, let's go to the house, go to the house. So it's like the house... The house definitely calls you. I mean, look at the night that Rita and I went there. We both wanted to go to the house, and it was freezing cold. We had the heaters on in the house.
It was terrible that night we were there.
Yeah,
oh my God, It was freezing.
And we had heaters in the house, but there's that that new little oven heater that we got. What's it called with the little ding on it?
The toaster oven.
I turned that toaster oven on, man. I was turning that shit on. I had that thing.
You had a lot all day long. By the time the heat comes out of that thing, it's turned into ice by the time it hits the air.
Well, whatever. Every 20 minutes it was going ding, 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 ding. So I'd get up and 20 minutes. Yeah, so, I mean, overall, it takes a while for the house to warm up. We had gone there, and the house was cold. And it was I don't know Fahrenheit, but it was cold when we were there.
It was about 28 degrees inside the house.
Yeah. So
it warms up when you put the heaters on.
When you put the heaters on, then the house warms up, and it's all good. But we went there, and it was ice cold. Yeah.
It warmed up if you were sitting on the toaster oven.
And we are putting more heaters in, by the way.
We just gotta, what we did. If you hang a blanket in the living room doorway, that room stays around 62-ish or so. But the rest of the house, especially upstairs, is around. Well, it's freezing or below, 32 or below, 32 Fahrenheit. Zero for you, since you don't know what the hell 32 means.
30 is 0, so it's just about freezing.
32 is 0. Get that right.
No. 30 is 0. You get it right.
32.
Do I need to
32.
separate you two?
Look at your Celsius Fahrenheit scale.
It was cold as hell. That's all I know.
That's right. It was.
Yeah.
Well, it's snowing up on the hill now, I'm sure, because we have a little bit of sleet down here. And that's the thing. That house is inaccessible sometimes, but we do have the town of Hinsdale said they will plow the driveway out, too.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they told us somebody actually even told me they were going to plow the driveway when we had the event there. So
that's awesome.
Because you'll have 2 inches of snow down here, and you'll have 15 inches of snow up there.
But that also goes to show that how important it can be for communities to have a focal point like that.
Sure.
Did Sandy?
Yeah, I mean,
Absolutely.
Did Sandy do any damage to the house at all, Paul?
Pardon me?
Did Sandy damage the house at all?
No.
Okay.
no, my Puerto Rican from Jersey, from Pennsylvania, from Jersey, she was up there. But she didn't do any damage to the house. But that was the same time. But no, there was no damage done from
Her hurricane. So that house
just
is actually
that hurricane.
Yeah. So that house has actually survived Hurricane Rita and Hurricane Sandy
In the same
yeah.
weekend.
Yeah.
in the same weekend.
Exactly.
It doesn't survive the people that wanted to go up there. I mean, they really did. They actually kicked in the front door. And what really bothered the hell out of us after they kicked through the front door. The door was still there, just the middle of it was gone. And even though it was wide open, a big gaping hole into the living room, they still went around back and snapped off the padlocks, the master padlocks and everything else. People had no regard for the house, but since Bill has taken over and since pretty much everybody now knows there's surveillance there, you still have the people that go up. You still have carloads of people that will go up there. You'll have investigative teams up inside the house, and we had 3 cars pull up into the driveway on us one night. We had five people, I think, inside, and here come 3 carloads. And most of the time, you can tell them to leave. It's a private investigation, and there's no problem. But you do get some of the asses that go up there and just decide they want to maybe go up and have problems or cause problems or whatever. But thank God lately it's not been that way.
And you look at it as one thing too, is like you brought up before. It happened about the same time as the Amityville. This case, this house, this land, this area is a lot more, in my opinion. I mean, the Amityville house is not haunted. I mean, you can sell it for $1 trillion. You're not going to get activity out of the Amityville house. I don't care what they say. There's no activity in the house. It was just, this place here. It's probably one of the most underrated areas, houses, whatever you want to call it, in America. I think is one of the most underrated. And sure, it makes the top 10 or top 13 most haunted places, but you're going to get those lollygaggers, those people that come up that want to just sort of look at the house and just drive up the drive and go, ooh, there's the Hinsdale house, and then drive away. I would do the same thing. I don't, it doesn't bother me when people drive up to the house and they have a look, and most of the neighbors now, they all know who we are. They've always known who you are. But, they all know who I am. I went by, and I've introduced myself to everyone, and I've let them know what's going on and what's happening.
Oh, yeah, they all watch it, too, though. They all watch it. Except
exactly.
for the woman next door. She's a nut job.
Yeah. But they all, but she's nice to me. But they all watch the place, and, they all know the legends. Most of them believe that something's going on there. I've even heard stories from a couple of the other neighbors saying that they've seen lights going through their bushes behind the house and all sorts of stuff. I mean, there's lots going on in that location. And the thing with Hinsdale is it's not just a haunted house, if that's what you want to call it. It's the entire area.
It's the whole area.
It's the land. The land. It's just a place for them to hang out is inside the house.
It doesn't follow any rules or regulations. Father Al said that way back in 1971, 72. And most people don't know he made that comment. Most people don't know anything about him other than the few little ditties that, like there's a YouTube video with Father Al in it where he says, and he's so reluctant to say ghost. He always was reluctant to say the word because he doesn't like the word, even though I'll tell your host that Father Al kept his 2 front rows of his classes open. No student could sit at them because they were reserved for any spirits who might want to join his class. He did that for 35 years.
Wow.
But he said that way back when, that there's no rhyme or reason as to what is going on. There's poltergeist activity without a poltergeist. You have windows slamming shut when the windows were all closed at all times. There was just too much happening in the house and he was there to see some of this. He was there to observe these things. But it's just there's no trend reality when it comes to some of the things that were happening then. And I guess now, too, because if I'm not there, it seems like there's a lot of weird crap going on. I don't understand it. I'd like to see it myself again. I want to see it now.
There's no consistency. It's like I get it all the time. I get all sorts of things all the time. And a lot of the other groups, they'll be in there, they get stuff all the time. And then sometimes people will go there and they'll blank. But I get it day, afternoon, morning, night, evening, whenever. It happens whenever it happens. Yeah.
No, you don't need the lights off for Hinsdale to activate.
No, that's for damn sure.
So the location basically refuses to be pigeonholed, and by that I mean it's not a poltergeist type haunting. It's not a demonic possessive type haunting. It's
a little bit of
everything all together.
Sprinkled all together.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that there's anything demonic going on in the house. No, I mean Paul's been punched in the face, but I'm sure it was well warranted. And aside from that. Aside from that, I mean, yeah, of course, we get the dark shadows, we get the pots and pans, we get stuff, flying around, stuff flying off shelves. We'll get the hissing and the talking and your name being called, and we'll get bright lights, and then you'll get these sparkly little things that look like sprites almost, like floating through the air. It really weird. And so yeah, you've got all sorts of activity there. I mean, Nene Grace was there, Christopher St. Booth was there, Father Bob Bailey has been there, and they all say that this place is off the hook. They all look at it at first and go, "Are you kidding me, man?" And then they all go there. Nene Grace was doing a seance type session, and there was only 4 of us in the house. I was not allowed in my own house, by the way. There was 4 of them in the house. The entire floor of that house shook. It was being videotaped. We had the footage, and the entire floor was shaking. It was just going, and everything was shaking.
We had that happen last week.
Yeah,
that happened to us last week upstairs.
Yeah,
Rita was there or 2 weeks ago when you were there.
Yeah, so you give me an explanation on how that happens and what that is. I can't tell you. I don't know. But the house definitely calls to you. We found human remains on the phone, on the property. There's trees in the forest that are out of place, that shouldn't be there, that shouldn't be growing there. There's all sorts of different things that are going on. So it's something that we are continually investigating it. We treat it like an archaeological dig.
Right.
I didn't get a lot of time to spend there when I was there this last time. I should have spent a little bit more time when I was there, but I didn't. It was just too cold. But we are putting more heaters in the house.
Even for a Canadian?
Well, maybe in the spring.
Even for a Canadian, yeah,
wow,
it was cold.
That's cold.
Yeah.
Maybe in the spring, Bill, if you can come down, maybe we can get in there. And then there's a couple of spots that Alex Canis pointed out to us where he said we will find some graves. Now, we look for maybe some humped over dirt, even after years. Sometimes it will stay a little bit, especially in an untouched area like that. But I've always wanted to do that anyhow, because human bones were found in a basement. Human bones were found dug up by one of the dogs of the Dandy family on the banks of the pond, which was not there prior to that. Before them moving in, there was no pond.
Right.
So it could be anything. There could be mass graves on the property. Nobody really knows. It's a rural area. It's never grown up. I mean, it's always been farmland.
Well, there's rumors of the Seneca Indian tribe that was there too, being slaughtered and massacred and buried on the land as well too, and that's
Well, that was down in the town proper. Supposedly, it was right within the town proper in the valley area, because they speak of that's the hard research part. You're looking at back in the 1700s, and I just can't get a hold of anybody that was back there with me at the time. They'll see that I'm so old.
Yeah.
But we're still trying to ascertain exactly where that happened. But I don't think anybody will ever know the precise spot. There's word of a shaman's grave just above the house. Again, that's speculation. And it comes from a particular person that's not really worthy of everything he says. So I won't go into that. But There's so much.
There's a lot of things that we have to take with a grain of salt with everything that's there, and unless unless we've got hard evidence, we're not going to provide it as fact. Oh, this happened or whatever. There's a lot of rumors surrounding the house, and as far as that goes, we'll leave it at that.
Yeah, that's what you have to do.
Well, thanks for coming on, Paul. Good to have you.
That's good. I'm going to leave now and go listen to the rest of you guys talk. And where the hell are my enamel bars?
I was looking at some today. Well, I'll call you tomorrow. Nobody's going to get that joke, but I'll call you tomorrow. We'll talk about the enamel bars, brother.
Okay.
Okay. Say hi to Tina and Angel.
All right, they're listening to you.
All righty. Love you guys.
Bye, Paulie.
Bye, Paulie.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Wow, you really weren't kidding, were you, Bill?
No. he's a wealth of knowledge, that's for sure.
Definitely full of character.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, especially when he's got Bill sitting there goading him.
Well, yeah. Just to remind everybody, you've also, I know we just spent a lot of time talking about Hinsdale and how important that is to you, but you've also got this new show coming out. Do you have an air date for this yet?
The tentative air date for The Other Side is October 2013. It's a little ways away, but definitely well worth the wait. It's one of those shows where when I look at it, I've seen some of the, a couple of the rough cuts and things like that that our director has been gracious enough to share with me. And I look at it and I'm like, wow, this is like nothing I've ever seen before. And I think that's what viewers are going to see is they're going to be like, this is not a cookie cutter paranormal BS show. This is something totally different. And really that's what we're all trying to do is do something different. I mean, this is something, there's a huge cock on the screen right now and it's just distracting me here. So you might want to boot that guy to your room. But anyways, so I mean, it's something that is just different, and it's provocative, and it's smart. It's just a really smart show, and I can't wait for it to air. I'm really excited to be a part of it.
Well, Bill, we wouldn't expect anything less from you. I mean, seriously, your episodes of Contact, they're like nothing. They've always been above and beyond. You know what I mean? Thank you.
With Contact, I was planning on having Contact wrapped up by the end of the summer, but because of The Other Side, our schedules conflicted, so I couldn't do Contact. Now, thank God actually that didn't happen, because now I look at guys like Rob King, who directed it, and I see how he puts things together, and I see how the editing's done, and I see how our director of photography has done everything. It's just like, wow, man, I got to step up my game. I mean, I'm not everybody and the dog could go out and buy a camera, call themselves a filmmaker, but at the end of the day, you're not a filmmaker, man. I mean, we take what we get and we turn it into something. But these guys that I was dealing with are amazing, professional, just the caliber of the people that I got to work with was just amazing. I didn't get, a director that was just, a director. I got Rob King, and we were all really blessed and really privileged to be able to work with this guy. And the same with Daryl Kessler, who's our director of photography. And it really shows in the episodes when they come out. You can see Rob's vision from beginning to end, and it's just absolutely amazing. So I have to sort of rethink now. I look at my episodes of Contact. I'm like, oh dang, I gotta kind of do that a little bit different now, because Rob's kind of stepped me up a little bit. He's taught me a lot. Yeah. I mean, I won't be of the caliber Rob is at, but man, I've got to definitely step up my game.
But yeah, I was going to ask you. You probably turned into Sponge Bill SquarePants, and you were probably just sitting there sucking all of this stuff in. You probably spent more time behind the camera than you did in front of the camera, just picking their brains about that stuff.
I tried to be on set as behind the camera as much as I could, but it is on myself anyways. I was the guy. There was the four principal characters on the show, And I was the guy always sitting in my car. I would always sit in my car, whether it was hot out, whether it was cold out, whether it was whatever. I was sitting in my car and I was listening to music and I was just vibing, because I can because of the way that I sense things. I'm not the sensitive on the show. I'm not the intuitive on the show. That's Jeff, but I still am. So in order for me to cut it off, to sever my tie with the location, or not to have communication with the location or with the people in the location while I'm there, I have to distract myself. So, 9 times out of 10, when you'd see Bill, I was either, behind the camera kind of looking and being a goofball and setting off fireworks and being the class clown, I guess, or I was just chilling in my car. And, but I did learn a ton from those guys. I learned a ton. And I didn't realize what everything entailed when I would see, Daryl taking these shots or having this vision of this or this, or Rob saying this or action and no, shoot it again. We got to get it this way or whatever, because it's all unscripted. I mean, we're not following scripts, but he's got a vision. He says, okay, we're going to pull up this way and we're going to take the camera angle this way and whatever. And, the way he did it all when I would look at the rough cut, it would all make sense after. It was just the guys those guys are, I just can't give them enough respect.
Yeah, well, there's a reason why they get paid to do that.
Absolutely, yeah.
I mean, seriously, like you said, anybody, with the quality, see, that's the other thing, technology has evened out. Is, 15, 20 years ago, middle 90s, you had to be a professional filmmaker or a professional documentarian and have, at least some form of a 6-figure budget to make anything of quality, because all of the amateur equipment was exactly that. And there was a distinct quality difference. Now you can go spend, $2,500 and get a piece of equipment that's going to take it's the same piece of equipment that they're using to shoot professional stuff with.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. I spent $6,000 on my AX2000 camera, my Sony, and I've got a couple handheld green, like the infrared Sonys. And when I look at what these guys did with their cameras, I mean, there's no comparison. To my $6,000 Sony is a piece of junk compared to what these guys shot it on. And they're not even using the best of the best. They're using, good stuff, but it's not even close to it. You have to take into consideration these guys are shooting it, then they're doing color correction, then they're doing this, that, and the other thing. It's like it's so complex. To these guys it's like simple. To me it's like it's boggling my mind. I just I'll stick with my AX2000 and my After Effects and whatever, and I'll do the best I can with what I have. I'm not going to put myself up to the level that those guys are at, not at all.
Right.
But I can definitely say that they've taught me a lot. And the caliber of the stuff that I'm going to put out is still going to be way above average, I hope. And it's not going to be, cinema quality stuff like these guys are cranking out, but it's definitely going to be better than most of this stuff, hopefully, better than most of the crap we're getting right now.
It is. It makes people sit up and pay attention.
Yeah.
That's. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess the point I was trying to make is there's not that huge gap anymore. Like you said, if you have a Mac with that much horsepower and you can go in and quickly do all the stuff yes, it does look different, but just for straight filming, some of the HD technology they have out there now, it's possible for an amateur guy to put something out that, at least quality-wise, is very hard to distinguish from the professional stuff.
Yeah, a lot of times it is.
Sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the software's out there that, the industry standard software's out there that people use. There's different cameras available out there now. There's it really, what at the end of the day, what it comes down to is we could have had the best camera in the world and a shitty director, and the show would have come out shitty.
Yeah.
Or a shitty director of photography or a crappy crew, and at the end of the day, everything fell into place great, and we can, was that a dog barking?
Yeah.
Yes, Eric's
Oh, okay,
here
all right.
taking the dog.
I was thinking that was my dog or your dog.
Jimmy.
But yeah, no, so yeah, I mean, there's a definite difference in what you're getting, but it is nice nowadays now that, I mean, people have access to fast computers. We have access to good cameras. We have access to good software. So if we have access to it, then utilize it, and make the best of what you can with it. I put my, I make my videos on my Mac at my house, and I throw it on YouTube, and I get over 1 million hits on a video, and it's, people, but at the same time, that being said, people are never going to be happy with what you put out. You're always going to have haters. You're always going to have this, that, and the other thing. What I do, I don't even care. When this show comes out, I'm not going to read reviews. I'm not going to, whatever. I know that the product that what we put out, is quality stuff. Mm-hmm. And I don't need to hear about what anybody else says, because I'm proud of what we did. I'm proud of what we accomplished. I'm proud of my friends and, the friends that I've made through this process of making this amazing documentary series. So. Yeah, no,
that's what a lot of people need to do actually in the paranormal too, is stop caring what everybody else thinks and just do their own thing.
Yeah.
Just saying.
But I mean, that's the thing too. I mean, you go on my YouTube page, you look at my videos, and guys are like, "Hey, you douchebag, you blah blah blah," and then and they're like anonymous and whatever, and it's like, it doesn't bother me. I leave the comments up. There's more good comments than there are bad comments, and at the end of the day, if I'm happy with what I've created, then that's all that matters, because I'm just sharing my vision with you and the world and everybody else, and that's all I wanted to do.
Yeah, that's you can't ask for more than that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Polly put Kim under a spell over here.
No, I want to go perch fishing.
She'd have to bring me along because she catches them, but she can't take them off.
Perch fishing? No, there's bluegill and bass in that place.
Okay,
I never caught a fish. Huh?
Bluegill.
Bluegill. They're amazing. They look like they're beautiful, colorful. They got a mouth like a piranha almost, like really weird inverted kind of teeth, but they're just gorgeous fish. And I've never caught a fish in my own pond. And then the last day that I'm there, Rita's laying on the couch. I'm like, babe, I'm going out to go try some fishing. So I throw my hook out with a bobber and a worm. Bloop, I got a bluegill. Bloop, I got a bass. I didn't even know I had bluegill in my damn pond. I'm catching bluegill and largemouth bass. So it was a great day.
You want to save on worms? Bluegill will also hit on corn.
Yeah.
Take a can of corn.
Oh, is that right?
Yep.
Okay.
Bluegill will hit.
I've never seen a bluegill in my life before. I've never even seen a largemouth bass. I've never had a fish that I can actually stick my hand in its mouth and not rip my thumb off. So it was cool.
Well, that's how I taught my daughter how to fish, is bluegill and a can of corn.
Wow. Awesome. Yeah, I love it.
Plus, there's like 1,000 pieces of bait in every can.
Right.
Yeah.
And you're not paying $3 for 6 worms.
Well, I was using, we got those like foot-long dew worms, and we cut the worm in half, we throw it in, and it'd be okay. We'd have to use the entire foot-long dew worm in order to catch a fish in that thing, man. It was just like, those things were hungry, so we were just feeding them worms like crazy, yeah.
Okay, so we've been putting up stuff where people can find you. I've been putting up your Facebook stuff, and they can also find you at paranorbill.com.
That's right, yeah, paranorbill.com.
Facebook's also Paranorbill.
Yeah, but he doesn't pay a lot of attention to that lately.
Oh.
Lately, yeah, just because of my shooting schedule and kids and everything else and lots of stuff going on. But I try to get onto Facebook as much as I can. Twitter is just at Paranorbill, and my email is paranorbill@gmail.com.
Cool. They can also everybody needs to go to, on Facebook, needs to go to The Other Side TV.
Absolutely, yeah. The Other Side TV will. Yeah, they'll give you Katrina, who handles all that, is an amazing woman, and what we do basically is she puts out little teasers, little hints, pictures, things like that, and you'll see a lot of behind the scenes things taking place there. So yeah, if you want to check out The Other Side, just go to The Other Side TV.
And if they ever want to get just a little something out on the internet first, just tell them that you got a place.
Exactly.
That's subtle, right? That was subtle.
Yeah, I saw your hand up there.
It's
all good. Yeah, yeah.
Bill, thank you for calling in tonight. Thank you for being on. It's been so good to catch up with you, brother.
Oh, you guys too. And I'm sorry I couldn't do it a couple weeks ago, but I was filming and I had my son, and it was just a gong show, and there was snow, and you know how it is. But I'm really glad that we got to touch base and we got to talk and catch up. So it was, as always, it's a pleasure and an honor to be with both of you two.
You also ended up in a ditch that weekend too, didn't you?
A which?
A ditch?
Not a witch,
yeah.
a ditch.
Yeah, I went into the ditch. My son and I, if you ever watch Star Wars, I don't know, a lot of people might think Star Wars is nerdy, but who are we to be talking nerdy? Anyways, when the snow speeder smashes into Hoth, yeah, there you go, and all the snow and everything's flying around it before the goes on top of it. Right. Well, that's pretty much what was happening with my son and I. We went into the ditch, the snow's flying everywhere, and we're both staring at each other, and then we look to our left, and there's this hot blonde and a hot redhead getting out of a car coming to help us. And we're like, high five. So we high five. No, not really, but, and then they did, but we didn't high five. Right. And then a guy in a pickup truck pulls up and pulls us out, and off we went. So, yeah, it was it was an experience.
Yeah. I mean, that just that goes along the thing that we always try to tell people: you have to be careful all the time. Paranormal investigating or not, you need to be careful all the time.
Oh, absolutely. Man, you never know. I mean, we were just driving along, and all of a sudden, off the road we went. And there's, I'm sure you guys have black ice there. There was black ice on the highway, and it had just snowed a lot. And there was a travel advisory saying, don't go, don't go, don't go. But we were already gone for 4 or 5 days, and I had to get my son back to school, because I had actually pulled him out of school so that he could participate in the last week of shooting, because I wanted to have him on set and also have him do a spiritual Aboriginal smudging and cleansing and that sort of thing. And so I took him there and drove home, hit the ditch, but then after that it was smooth sailing.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Well, we're glad everybody's okay.
Me too, and thank you very much.
And you got to see the blonde and the redhead.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, and Rita's probably listening, so that's great. It was just a blonde and a redhead, baby. It's all good. Just a blonde and a redhead.
Don't cut him.
Yeah, don't cut me. Don't cut me. Yeah.
Well, Bill, thank you so much. I do need to jet. I do have to go do that radio show thing here in about 30 minutes.
Absolutely. I appreciate you guys' time as always, and it's always a pleasure and an honor to be with you guys. So anytime you guys need me, I'm here for you.
And if anybody else that's on the other side would like to get get some interviews done or get practice doing interviews.
Sure.
You might know a place.
I might know a place. I will put the bug in the ear, and you might be hearing from some people here shortly.
Very cool, because you know who does the booking.
Oh, I know. I definitely know that we'll be doing some stuff, and so you guys are actually the first interview that I've done for the other side. No, that's not true. I did a radio, but this is the first internet that I've done.
Well, we're the first one that counts.
This is the largest one. I did a local radio one here in town, but this is it. And
we're the real deal,
absolutely.
dude.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you so much, Bill. We appreciate it more than you know, and always fun to talk with you.
Mm-hmm.
And you as well. You guys take care of yourselves.
We will. And thanks, Bill.
All right.
We'll be talking.
All right. We'll talk soon, guys.
All right.
Bye.
All right. Bye-bye.
And with that.
Next Friday, we're going to be talking with Miss Latrina Brown. She's a radio show personality, psychic medium, I think.
Tune in and find out. We're going to find out. You'll find out. We'll all find out at the same time. Tune in every night. Something is going on every night. Mistresses of Monday. Big time. 3 live shows. And we have 2 brand new shows coming. So check us out. Mm-hmm. Keep an eye on us. And once again, thank you so much, Bill. And Paul.
And the Hinsdale House.
Thank
you, Hinsdale House.
And Cynthia, her Jimmy.
Mm-hmm.
But with that, we are getting out of here. Have a great night. Have a great weekend. Be safe and don't hurt anybody shopping. If you have to, just run them over with the cart and make it look like an accident.
just say, yeah, your house is haunted. Thanks. We'll see you later. Thumbs up. Ours is not like that. We have stories. There's depth, in our show. And that's something that I really, really wanted. I've been offered shows before. None of them had that depth. And Jennifer Podemsky out of Toronto, it's sort of her brainchild. She was the one that came up with the idea, and she sort of handpicked all these people. And Angel Entertainment out of Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, put everything together, and here we are now. We just wrapped about 2 weeks ago shooting episode 13, which was the final episode. We had a wrap party. It was probably one of the most amazing experiences I've ever been involved in, aside from the birth of my children. I mean, it was amazing.
Yeah, that was when you were originally booked on our show.
Yeah.
Please tell me not every episode is demons.
No, we haven't come across. Well, no, I'm not going to say that. I personally, myself, am not a big fan of this whole demonology thing. And, to each their own. I have been doing it for a long, long time. I have yet to run into a so-called demon. I've had people say they're demons. I've had people call themselves Satan. I've had people call themselves Lucifer to me. Really, to me personally, it's not that I don't believe that they exist. I haven't run across them in my path. And if you can hear this, I'm knocking on wood because I don't want to. I got into this to get answers, and I'm getting them. And this last year, we've been shooting the entire summer, almost 5 months, and I've got a lot of answers to a lot of questions that I had, and as well as my co-stars and the rest of the cast members and even the crew members. I've seen some of their jaws drop. Like, they're looking at us like, what in the hell is going on? Like, what is going on here? So there's been a lot of amazing experiences on the show. As far as demons go, not really.
Well, I said that because today I was watching a show, and even a location we've been to a few times, they're like, oh, well, look, we saw a little girl. There's a thermal print of her hand. It said leave. It's a demon.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
really? I mean, you're...
Well, see, a lot of times what people, like, I look at it as this. We are how we are in life as we are in death. And if you're an a-hole in life, then you're going to be an a-hole in death. And, it's... Okay.
Shh. Hi, everybody. Welcome to PEMA TV.
And welcome to November 23rd, 2012, Black Friday. Well, for most of us.
Some of us got the memo.
Some of us prefer to be a rebel.
Want to thank everybody for showing up and joining us tonight on PEN.
We're so glad you made it through your turkey coma and anybody went shopping.
Well, I think that's going to be the only benefit of the NHL being shut down. People had all that pent-up aggression. Well, they got to get all that out today. They get to body check into the toy aisles and all that kind of stuff.
Well, they got it out last night because apparently a lot of the places, instead of waiting till midnight, were open at like 9.
Yeah, well, that's just in Milwaukee.
No.
I don't know.
What do I know?
Once again, real quick, everybody, if you're not following us, please click on the social media buttons below. Join us, follow us everywhere. Easiest way to keep up. Right below chat room. Do you have our store tab, World TV, to find our archives? Yeah, I go up, I go down, I go left, I go right, in, out. I'm all over the place. But tonight, we've got a very special guest and a very dear friend.
He's fun.
Yeah, he's more than fun, though.
Yeah, but he's fun.
Yeah. he is fun. But tonight we are joined by...
Dun, 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 Paranorbill, Bill Connelly. Bill, are you with us?
I'm with you. How you guys doing?
If we were any better, we need... if we were puppies, we'd need 2 tails. I almost screwed up my own saying.
If we were puppies, we would have 2 tails. We would each need 2 tails.
That'd be four
Oh,
tails.
damn! You guys need a better picture of me. Whoa.
That's what you get for not sending information ahead of time.
I have to do that next time I'm on.
Well, actually, I just went and dug some pictures up of you.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. No, and then I know you ain't afraid of no ghosts, so that's why I put that one on there.
No, it's all good.
I
That was a post picture we actually took for a local paper here in town. It was fun to do the photo shoot. That telephone was like one of the first phones ever made. Really, really early phone, aside from the dial, obviously, but it was a real early phone. It was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Well, I threaten everybody. If you don't send me good pictures, I'm going to go get the worst ones out of your photo album.
Oh, I
Exactly.
didn't go get any bad ones. I didn't.
Well,
go get
no, because usually I find him in some bizarre duck costume or something, so he's safe.
You've been, unfortunately, Bill, and I had to say this to one of my guests that was on another show last week. Because of our moving around and everything that's happened with us, we've kind of lost touch with you. We haven't talked to you in a little over a year.
He's been busy.
Well, we've talked off the air a lot,
the air.
but on the air, no, yeah, it's been like a year. It's been way too long.
I concur, sir, and you've had just a few things going on.
Yeah, I mean, I'm working on a TV series. We've got season 2 of Contact coming out. Just wrapping up season 1 to get it ready for PEN. I've got a lot of things going on. I'm writing a book. There's a lot of things going on in Billy's life, and and I'm a single dad, so I'm raising my son. So it's a busy time for me right now.
Oh, I can imagine.
I like the picture books.
The picture book, yeah. I like the pop-up ones myself, but that's a whole nother story. Just so everybody knows, you are located in our neighbor country to the north.
Correct.
Just so everybody knows.
I'm in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, and we don't celebrate Thanksgiving today. We celebrated it last month, but happy Black Friday to everybody.
Yeah. Well, everybody's a consumer. You all buy stuff in Canada, so there's consumers everywhere.
Well, see, we have Black Friday the day after Thanksgiving. Theirs isn't the day after their Thanksgiving, but they have Box Day.
Well, no, we
That's
have
Christmas
we
for you,
have
though.
Christmas and then Boxing Day. But the stupid thing is that you guys celebrate your Thanksgiving and then you have your Black Friday, but we celebrate Black Friday. It doesn't make any sense to me. Like Black Friday should come after Thanksgiving, but we celebrate Thanksgiving and then a month later we get Black Friday. It doesn't make any sense to me, but who am I?
Well, that's because if you had Black Friday after your Thanksgiving, you'd be out buying Halloween costumes on sale instead of Christmas stuff.
Yeah, probably. You're probably right. Yeah.
So see, it makes sense.
It's a huge corporate conspiracy started by the people at the North Pole.
It is.
Yeah, I think so. We'll blame it on Bush.
No, we can't pull an Obama. We can't blame it on Bush. He's been out for 6 years. And we're going forward with our change.
Yes.
Yay. But I want to hear. I really, 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 really. I would really like to know everything you can legally tell us about the new show.
Really?
I know they have a Facebook group. I'm going to put up a graphic.
Okay.
It's the Facebook link, and along with your Facebook link, but it's the Facebook link for your show. Maybe
Right.
just introduce everybody that's on the picture and.
Well, we've got Priscilla Wolf, obviously, who's on the right there, myself, Jeff Richards, and then our Aboriginal elder, who's basically our spiritual guide on the show.
There's a shadow on the wall that looks like a man with no that lamp just moved on that stand. I got movement in the cellars, I got footsteps in the hall. There's no time to waste, I better make some calls. I gotta get ready, make everything right, 'cause all my rowdy friends are goes hunting tonight. Hey, round up the team, let's get started. Hey, this is Brother Mike. There's a party and you're invited. We got the camera set, let's turn off these lights, 'cause all my rowdy friends are goes hunting tonight. This old house has a long history. It should be real good for activity. And we got the house wired for sound and got motion alarm setting all around. Got a box full of batteries ready to go, and everyone's itching to start this show. Got our logo tees, driving black SUVs, and that one bald guy with a slick goatee. Hey, round up the team. Let's get started. Hey, this is Brother Mike. Well, there's a party and you're invited. We got the camera set, let's turn off these lights, 'cause all my rowdy friends are goes hunting tonight. Hey, round up the team. Let's get started. Hey, this is your big brother Mike calling. There's a party and you're invited. We got the camera set, let's turn off these lights, 'cause all my rowdy friends are goes hunting tonight. That's right. Go get 'em, boys.
And what we do is we go, we take a totally different approach to the paranormal. We look for things that are, paranormal, but we try to approach them with an Aboriginal point of view, with a Native American, Native Canadian point of view, whatever you want to call it. And I'm sort of like the only honky on the show. I'm the only white dude. And I'm the tech guy. I'm a sensitive, but we have Jeff Richards, who's also, he's very intuitive, a really good friend of mine. And, we go into every episode just, looking, the same as everybody else, looking to, get proof. And we've had amazing results, just absolutely amazing results.
Yeah, that's...
Oh, and by the way, the guy on the far left, what I said was that's Tom Charles. Tom Charles.
Well, he did have a name, see?
He does, yeah, Tom. Yeah, great guy.
But and I guess the primary difference from what a lot of people have already seen is going to be the whole fact that this is taken from the Aboriginal point of view, for the most part.
Correct. We go into everything like, a lot of the other shows. This is the main difference between our show and a lot of the other shows. I still currently with Adam Straley produce Contact. And, it's a great show. It's different than the other shows out there. But you get a lot of these cookie cutter paranormal shows out there because they're very inexpensive to produce. From a big budget point of view, let's say, they're very inexpensive to produce. So that's why all these reality shows are so popular now. It's because they're cheap. The advertisers pay their money, and this and the other thing. These guys have actually put money into the production. We have a famous director, Rob King. He's done feature films. He's a Gemini Award winner, which would be the equivalent to an Oscar Award winner director. We've got an amazing director of photography. We've got an amazing crew. There's about 13 or 14 people on our crew, and we go from location to location to location to location. Aside from the Aboriginal point of view, we have a start to our show. We have, we figure out, okay, what's up. Then we have are, talking amongst each other, trying to figure out, okay, what is our process going to be? What are we going to do here? 3, we bring in Tom, which is our guide, really, and sort of like our Aboriginal mentor. And he sort of gives us his advice on what he would do. And in certain instances, about 80% of the time, he helps us. And then we have a conclusion. And a lot of these shows just